Welcome to the personal fitness course with VLACS. This is Perez, one of the personal fitness instructors. And I wanted to take a moment today to just walk through some of the navigation questions that a lot of kids have. And I hope that this helps to just kind of walk you through some of the areas that can be a little bit difficult to navigate through when you start this course. Okay? So to start off, we're going to look at, you're going to see the picture of myself and my husband. And you would probably see the picture of your instructor if this is for another course. And they're going to provide, a bunch of just different information. So their office hours, their contact information. There's the link to get to the online classroom here. Okay, the link to schedule appointments. So for your discussion-based assessments or DBAs and your monthly calls, you would just click on your instructor's link under appointments to try to book that. And like I said, all of the contact information, phone numbers, email addresses can all be found right in this section here. Okay? So let's scroll down just a little bit, and your instructor's page might look a little bit different from this, but this is just how I have set up my page. So I did type out the navigation information here. A lot of students still have some trouble, so I wanted to just kind of go over some things with you. So we're going to start here with Chapter 1 or Module 1, as you'll see it's mentioned in the course. And for each of the chapters or modules, you're going to see that there are 3 sections: the lessons, the assessments, and then the last piece is discussions. And not every module has discussions listed with it, but the majority of them do. Now if you scroll down, you'll see Module 2, Module 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you don't need to worry about any of this stuff at the bottom after that. So there are 8 chapters in this course. All right, so let's go back up to Module 1, and we're going to start off under the lessons section. All right, so what I'm going to do is, I'll tell you why in a minute, but I'm going to actually have us start at the 1.01 Wellville Information Bureau. All right. So this is what you will click on when you want to essentially access your textbook. Okay, so the lessons of the module are essentially your textbook. This is where you'll find all of the outside links that you need to click on, all of the information that you need to read through, and essentially, what you're going to need to, learn the information about the course. So there are 3 sections that I want to point out right now. In the upper left, you're going to see the warm-up, workout, and cool-down section. And you'll notice that the warm-up is the tab that's selected. You'll have the session section that lists the different units within the module, which is, if you think of like a math book or a science book, there's usually, the chapters kind of broken up into different parts. And that's exactly what you'll see here. And then the last and most important thing, which is where probably kids get confused the most, is this navigation section here, which is essential to help you to see all of the information that you need. All right, so let's start off with this. So 1.01, this goes over the pace chart and tells you everything that you need to do in order to complete the pace chart. All right, so what you're going to do with the pace chart, I may as well walk you through that to start, is we are going to actually, this is where kids get a little confused as well. This is located under the course information area section under off of the course homepage. So most of you guys will have a different tab that opens up for your lessons. So I'm just going to go back to that course homepage. And this sometimes can be a little bit difficult to get started with. Sometimes it can be a little bit annoying, but once you get going with it and just kind of understand the way that the course works, it's really pretty simple. You'll be toggling between, maybe 2 pages when you're doing your course. All right. So the pace chart is actually listed right here in the course information section. I have some of my students that still have a hard time finding it, so I've actually posted it in 2 other spots. Maybe not necessary, but I really wanted to try to make sure that kids could find it. So the pace chart is listed for me under assessments and under lessons. But for those of you that aren't in my course, let's just have you go to the course lessons, or I'm sorry, course information. So what you'll find here is pretty much all our policies and procedures, all the information here on how to get started. This course navigation video is good, but I think that most of our courses are designed a little bit differently, so it can be tough to kind of compare one course to another. So that's part of why I've created this video. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the PACE link, and we're going to find that we have a few different paces. What we always suggest to kids is to start off doing the traditional pace, which is the 18 weeks or 16 weeks worth of work, and then you get the 2 additional weeks. Because it just gets it's a little bit easier, I think, for kids to see that they have a bunch of time that's available to them, and if you want to do extra work, you're more than welcome to. So we're going to click on this traditional pace. And what you would want to do for this is you would copy and paste this into a Word document. All right. So if you are in my class and you click on the actual traditional pace chart link that I'd showed you before, you'll see that that will actually come up as a Word document. So you would just have to save it onto your computer, and then you would be able to edit it from there. So this pace chart walks you through each week's lessons. It tells you exactly what you should be turning in at the end of each week, or what you should be reading through. Some of the actual assignments that are listed here. For an example, for our course 1.02, there's nothing for you to turn in, it's just something for you to read. So don't get alarmed by that or anything like that. But this is all the stuff that you should be completing by the end of each week. Now you'll notice with the pace chart that over in the right-hand column, the assignment due date section is blank. And the reason for that is because we have kids that literally start this class every single day. So we can't have, assigned due dates for every kid because every kid is starting at a different time. So what you're going to do is, to complete this section, is you're going to need to use your start date that was provided in the follow-up email from your instructor, and your first week's worth of assignments will be due a week from that date. So let's just say that you started your course on Sunday, and the date was June 1st. Your first week's worth of assignments would not be due until the following Sunday, which would be June 8th. So you would just write in this section here 6/8, and you could put the year if you want to, but that's not needed. And you would go week by week completing each week's due date. So if the first week was 6/8, the next week would be 6/15, and so on and so forth. Now, if you know that there's some vacation that you're going to need, you can include that here. And then when you're filling out the rest of your weeks, you would just skip over those weeks in this section. Now, if you decide that you want to go a little bit ahead of pace, that's totally fine. But this is really just to give you a good layout as far as when the assignment should be due. All right? And this is what your instructor will use as a guide to making sure that you're staying on pace. So one of the things that I'm really strict with is the grace period. So by the end of your first 28 days or 4 weeks in the course, you should have up to the end of chapter or module 2 completed. Okay? So this is really important to make sure that you're getting these completed. All right. So let's get out of here, and we're going to go back. Actually, let me just show you real quick. So once you have copied and pasted and filled out your traditional pace chart, what you would do is you're going to save it on your computer, and I would suggest creating a new folder for your VLACS assignments, and you could just title it VLACS, and you could put it in there. And then what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to turn it in under the 1.01 pace chart link. So you would click on this link, and you would upload this file. Okay, after you've browsed your computer to find it, you would select it and then upload this file. Really important, when you're submitting your assignments, you're going to have the option to save things as a draft if it's something that you haven't finished, and you're more than welcome to do that. But if it's something that you want to turn in, you're going to need to make sure that you submit it for grading. And then you'll also get one more prompt that comes up that asks you if you're sure you want to submit it. Very important to make sure that you select yes to that prompt, because if you don't, your instructor won't get it as something to grade. Okay, so let's go back. Actually, I'm sorry, let's go back to the lessons section. And my computer's just taking a minute to, oh, there it is. Never mind. All right, so we've gone through the pace chart, and what is really, really important when you're under the lesson section is this forward navigation arrow. This is essentially going to flip the page of the unit that you're in. So as you'll see here, we are still in lesson 1.01, and up in the upper left now the workout section is highlighted. So the majority of all of the sessions or units in the module actually have more than one page. And this is where kids get really confused because they'll click on 1.01 and they'll read the first page and then they'll skip to 1.02 and then they have no idea what they're supposed to turn in. And it's because they haven't seen 2 of the 3 pages that you need to read through. So 1.01, you would read through all of this. It's talking about what you need to do in order to save your work and open files. All right. So you would read through that. Then you would click the forward navigation arrow. And the third piece, or the third page of each lesson, is called the cool down section. This is another important area because it tells you exactly what to submit. So for this one here, it's telling you to submit your PACE chart, which you've completed, under the 1.01 PACE assessment link, right? So this is, again, where we need to kind of toggle back and forth between our lesson page and our actual course homepage. Okay, so now we're going to go back to that assessment section, which is really important. So the assessment section of each module, you're going to see a bunch of different links here. And essentially, for each one, you need to turn something in order for your instructor to be able to grade it. Now, for this example, you're going to see that there's actually one, your traditional PACE chart has a Word document icon to the left of it. Anytime you have a document that has a Word icon to the left of it, that's not a link that has to have something turned in. That's the actual document. But for the rest of them, you'll see the majority of them have a piece of paper with a hand turning it in, or they have a piece of paper with a red check mark. So the ones that have the piece of paper, those are ones that you have to upload the assignment that you've saved onto your computer. Okay? It could be a PowerPoint presentation that you've done. It could be some written short answer questions that you need to turn in. For the piece of paper with the red check mark inside of it, those are multiple choice exams, and sometimes they'll have some short answer questions on those. So for those, a lot of times, actually for this assignment in particular, some students get a little bit confused because they'll finish all, and I believe there are 20 questions, 10 multiple choice and 10 short answer. The multiple choice will be automatically graded, and the short answer questions need to be graded by your instructor. So your grade would come back if you got all 10 multiple choice questions as a 50%. And that's when a lot of times students will email their instructor saying, hey, I turned this all in, why did I only get a 50? And it's because your instructor has to manually grade the other 10. So no need to worry on that. So for each one of these assessment links, besides the ones with the Word document, something has to be turned in order for your instructor to grade it. Okay, and this sometimes can be a little bit of a pain for examples like your other seeking fitness discussion link or your creating diversity and physical activity discussion link, because you are going to actually post your responses under this discussion forum that's listed here. So what you would do once you're at the 1.03 assignment is you would click on the forum link, and this is going to open up the forum where you will see a bunch of other kids that have taken the class or are currently taking the class. The questions are posted here. You would add a new discussion topic. The subject can be whatever you want. If you want to just put 1.03, you can. And you would answer your questions right in this section, and then you would post to the forum. Then you would need to go back to the actual assessment link for that discussion forum. And you would need to, hold on one second, my computer's acting a little slow today. You would need to go back to the assessment link for 1.03, and all you would need to submit for that is just a Word document or some sort of text file that just has the date that you posted your response onto the forum, so that way your instructor can grade it. Okay? So these are really the 3 sections of each module that kids kind of get a little bit confused with. Now, obviously, up to this point, if there's any other questions or if there's something that I haven't answered, you're more than welcome to get in touch with me or get in touch with your instructor if you're not in my class. Really important, though, communication is often. So if there's anything that we can do, just don't hesitate to let us know. Good luck with the course, and we hope to see some work from you soon. Thanks.